Aloha Power Players, and welcome to the T-shirt transfer paper Power Half Hour, brought to you by Condé Systems. I'm your host, Doug DeWitt. Welcome to the show. Riding with me in Mission Control is Rodeo Bo, and in today's episode, we are going to give you a live demonstration of our brand new two-paper, two-step self-weeding transfer system to be able to go onto dark color garments, and we're calling it LaserMPrints TrimFree IC Dark. Now, before we get started, you know it's our tradition here at the T-shirt transfer paper Power Half Hour. We've got to pay the power bill. So first up on the agenda is we wanted to thank you, our loyal customers. We appreciate your business, and we are showing it. If you place an order with Condé for over $200, you get free ground delivery within the contingent 48 states. Sorry about that, Alaska and Hawaii. We'll work on it. Some restrictions do apply. Go to our website, condé.com or ditrans.com. Click on the banner for more information. Another thing I wanted to tell you about, just to kind of hip my loyal viewers, starting tomorrow and running through Friday, we're going to have a flash sale on our remaining inventory of Oki 8432 WTs and 9541 WTs. Now this is first come, first serve, people, but we are offering rock bottom prices on just the printer or on complete systems. So if you want more information, hit us up at whitetonerinfo@condé.com. Now, why would we be doing something like that? Well, that's what we're here to show you. Rodeo Bo, roll that beautiful footage. That's right, folks. Coming soon, the Creo White Digital Transfer Systems. As soon as we get them available here at Condé, we are bound to give you all the details on it. Now, of course, one more thing to pay the power bill. Don't go off-roading when it comes to your sublimation business. Stay on the map with The Road to Sublimation Success, co-authored by our very own David Gross. You can order this book through Condé Systems. You can order it off of Amazon. You can even download it on Kindle. All right, Rodeo Bo, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC Dark. Now, like I said in the beginning, this paper, it's a two-part system. We have a foil or a film sheet, and we have a B sheet, which applies the emulsion. So it's going to be a two-step process. Now, as far as the paper is concerned, we carry it in 8.5 inch by 11 inch size. This part number is CLP015. It comes with 50 A sheets and 50 B sheets. If you need the 11 by 17 size, that part number CLP016. Again, 50 A film sheets and 50 B sheets, 11 by 17 size. What's also cool about this product is a silicone finishing sheet is required to do the finishing press onto your garment. But with these part numbers, there are 10 silicone sheets included with every pack, so you don't have to worry about purchasing additional silicone sheets. Okay, now as far as this paper is concerned, we brought this paper on board mainly to cater to white toner printing systems that happen to use an S paper path as far as their feed delivery, eye color. So, you know, they work great in those printers, but they are also compatible with all of the Oki white toner systems that are on the market. The 711 WT, the 8432 WT, even the 9541 WT. So we're going to be demonstrating with an Oki 8432 WT white toner printer. So let's go ahead and get started and discuss how to load the A-film into your printer and how to set the printer up to run properly through your system. What you'll notice about the A sheet is it is similar to a transparency film. but camera may not be able to pick it up. We have what I'm going to call a frosted side, and then we have a glossy, shiny side. Now, the frosted side is the printable side of this film. So in an 8432 WT or a 711 WT or even a 9541, we want to print from the multi-purpose paper tray. We want to load the film print side up, which is the frosted side up. The gloss side of the sheet should be down against the tray. So let's go ahead and lock that tray into position, get it ready to print. Now, the only real adjustment I need to make on my 8432 WT to run this A-film sheet is to let the printer know that I'm running a transparency film. Now, how I'm going to do that is I'm going to press the menu button. It's going to bring me into the function screen. I'm going to use my down arrow scrolling down to menus, hit enter. When we're on the menu screen, it immediately brings me into tray configuration. So I'm going to hit enter here. Under tray configuration, it brings us right to MP tray, or multi-purpose tray configuration. Let's hit enter to access this. Let's set our paper size. For this product, we are running a tabloid sheet, which is 11 inch by 17 inch. Hit the enter button, make sure the asterisk appears. That means the change is locked in. When we go down to media type, now, if we were running Forever Low Temp Laser Dark, we would select user type 1. But we got to understand that the Forever product is a thicker A sheet than this LaserMPrints TrimFree IC. So we're going to go into media type, we're going to scroll up until we find transparency and hit enter, make sure the change is locked in. If you have a 711 WT, you want to look for a film setting as opposed to transparency setting, but they basically mean the same thing. Let's scroll down to media weight, hit enter, and let's make sure our media weight is set to Ultra Heavy 1. We'll hit the back button until our unit says ready to print. And now we're getting ready to print to our LaserMPrints TrimFree IC. Now, to demonstrate its compatibility with an Okidata white toner system, we are going to run an image through the Forever Transfer RIP, send it to this system so I can detail the steps that I would recommend if you want to adapt LaserMPrints TrimFree IC into your arsenal. Bo, get me over to the transfer RIP, please. Thank you, Bo. Okay, hope everyone can see here. We are in the Forever Transfer RIP. Again, this is a 5-step process. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the profile for Laser Dark No Cut Low Temp. Now I understand that this is Forever's profile, basically kind of written for their particular media, but I think it's going to work out just fine. Like I said, the only real difference is we're running a thinner A-film sheet running the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC. So let's go ahead and select that profile. I'm going to work with my example image here. So let me select it, click on the print preview down at the bottom, and let me go ahead and import this file into the transfer RIP. Now, when we get to the third page, that will be our color management page, we would want to go ahead and make the adjustments to the image like we normally would. Now, understand that making adjustments to an image within a RIP program might be a little limited, but just kind of follow along here. Okay, so here we have the graphic that we're going to work with. Pardon me one second. What I generally like to do is make some quick adjustments to the brightness and the saturation, especially in the reds. If I make any adjustment here in the color management, it will give me a preview. Now, since I'm going to put this graphic on a black t-shirt, let me go ahead and remove the black out of here. So I clicked on my remove color, select that black, lock that in. And now let me play around with the tolerance so I can knock out that background black. Because basically I'm going to let the shirt color fill in. Now, when we go over to our step 4 or 5, which is controlling the spot color or the white, if we were going on to a dark garment, and we were using forever low temp paper, we would basically set our spot fill percentage to 200%, okay? Now, what I can tell you from my playing around with this paper, my experimentation, because we're dealing with a thinner A film sheet and a thinner B sheet, what that basically means is if you want a good opaque white and you want to get a good image release, you are going to need to adjust or add more white toner that you would normally not lay down when dealing with the Forever product. For instance, Forever's recommendation is 150% coverage if you were going on to a light color garment, 200% coverage if you're going onto a dark garment. What I would probably suggest is when using the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC, you want to go up to about 240% just for your lighter garments, and somewhere between 280 to 300% for a dark garment. Because like I said, we're dealing with a thinner A sheet and B sheet, so it means that when we lay down the adhesive B, which is white based by the way, it's just simply not as thick as the Forever brand. So we have to add a little bit more white toner to compensate. Let me click on the next button here, make sure that I'm going to my 8432 WT, and I'm probably going to print 2 copies in case I mess up one here. Since we are going to a black t-shirt, I'm going to configure this as a mask recommended for dark media, and I'm going to go with what I consider to be default settings. 25 on the mask size, shadow tolerance of 200, the Euclidean dot shape, angle of 45 degrees, highlight set at 2, shadows at 98. We are using the 8432 WT profile here. Now, of course, since I am using a different product, I could turn off the profile right here if I wanted to in the transfer rib. But I think I've got all the settings, so let me go ahead, click on the print button here, and Bo, if you could get us over to the 8432, let's see it in operation. While the job's queuing up here, just to kind of go over some of the similarities that I have seen between the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC and the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark. Like I said, both of these use a 2-sheet, 2-step process, with the sheet that runs through the printer being basically essentially a transparency film, the B sheet, which applies the emulsion, and then you go ahead and set it to your garment. Now, as far as the garments that you can decorate, you can definitely do 100% cotton or cotton polyester blends with both products. However, I haven't seen any recommended temperatures to go lower than the application temperature on the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC, so I would have to question its ability to decorate polyesters, while we know for a fact that the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark can definitely decorate polyester. So if you need to decorate polyester, my recommendation would be stick with the Forever brand. And again, as far as another similarity with these two products, they both require a finishing press with a silicone sheet covering the exposed image in order to help set the emulsion to the garment. It basically adds softness, it adds durability. It's definitely a step that you want to employ. Now, harping on some of the differences between these papers, like I said, the LaserMPrints TrimFree, this is a thinner A-film sheet, which is beneficial if you're going through a printer with an S paper path. If you try to run something too thick through an S paper path system, you might not get the best result, which is basically why we brought this product on board. So anybody that happens to have an iColor system, we've got a compatible paper that will feed through your system. As far as, are we an iColor dealer or distributor? No, we're not. but we do offer a 100% product guarantee on all of our LaserMPrints transfer paper products, and we definitely stand behind this one. It's not going to cause any kind of damage to your eye color system, but if it happens to do it, let us know. We'll take care of you. Okay, so now I have my prints here, and I've got some prints from previous runs we did right before we went to camera. So now that we've kind of gone over some of the similarities and differences, let me show you firsthand how the product works. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do here is go over the heat press settings on my DK20S heat press. I've got my press set at 320 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got the timer set for 60 seconds. I've got the pressure set to heavy, much heavier pressure than what I would normally use if I were using Forever Low Temp Laser Dark. On my George Knight press, I've got the pressure bar coming in at about an 8 or a 9 when I squeeze this down. But basically, you want to go heavy on the pressure. You also want to pre-press the bottom platen and get that bottom platen up to heat so that when we peel the B sheet from the A film, we have a much easier time peeling. Now, that's similar with both products. Okay, let me go ahead and open up my pack here. And I am going to grab a B sheet. The backing is clearly marked in writing. Here is the blank application side of the B sheet. So what we are going to do, just like similar products, we are going to take the print side of our A film sheet and we're going to lay that against the emulsion side or blank side of the B sheet. Now, I am leaving myself just a little bit of a gap here between the A sheet and B sheet at the top, and that's so that I can have an easier time separating the two after I heat them. One thing I have noticed, and let me get that. One thing that I've noticed is that the B sheet pretty much covers the entire length and width of the A foil sheet. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend printing edge to edge, but that does help as far as getting, successful white down along the edge. But let's go ahead and put our A film B sheet together. I want to place them inside of the press, the A foil against the bottom platen, the B sheet up facing me. I'm going to cover it with a sheet of protective paper, butcher paper. And like I said, I'm heating these two sheets together, 320 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 seconds, heavy pressure. Now, as far as the temperature is concerned, it's about the same temperature range where you would normally apply Forever Low Temp Laser Dark. Like I said, the pressure, it's a much higher pressure than what you might be used to if you've ever used the Forever product. But where the payoff may be, even though I am using a little extra white toner to create this design, the payoff is in the actual production time that we're saving. It doesn't matter whether you're using the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC Dark in its 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17 size. They both take the same application time for this step, which is only 60 seconds. When you compare that to the 30 seconds to possibly 2 minutes that you have to use to weed Forever Low Temp Laser Dark, you can cut your production time by half. Another interesting thing about this product is, unlike the Forever Laser Dark, where you basically do a low, slow peel, you want to separate much faster. Okay, now here we have our A film sheet, which should have the white-based emulsion. Here we have the B sheet, which should be cleaned. But as you notice right here, I've got some toner that moved from the A sheet onto the B sheet. What does this mean? Well, it means we're either too low on the temperature or too light on the pressure. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to adjust my temperature 5 degrees up, and I'm going to give my press a 1/2 revolution turn, okay? So let's take the same graphic and let's give it another shot. Okay, I'm going to grab my B sheet, Put the blank side of the B sheet against the printed side of the A foil sheet or A film sheet. Line them up. Put these two on the press. Cover with butcher paper. And so now we're doing it at a slightly higher temperature and a slightly higher pressure. Now, if we get more of that toner that moves onto our B sheet, what it probably means is that we have to increase the pressure yet again. Now, why are we making these adjustments? Like I stated earlier, the emulsion coating on this B sheet, and let me grab another one here because I will need it. The emulsion coating that's coming off on this B sheet, it's a much thinner coating than the forever low temp B sheet provides. So essentially what we have to do is basically put more pressure on these two sheets in order to get that emulsion side to feel that toner layer. If it feels that toner layer, it should stick. Wherever the emulsion and the film come in direct contact with one another, there's no toner in between. Just like the other products, there's a chemical blocker in the A film that keeps that B emulsion from sticking. That's basically how these self-weeding papers work. All right, Rodeo, let's give this another shot. And like I said, a fast peel. I'm kind of used to slow peeling with the forever low temp, so it's taken a little adjustment for me to basically get my peel speed up. But camera won't be able to show it. If we've got a perfect indentation of our original design in the B sheet and no toner is stuck, then that means we have our press calibrated. This press should be good to go, Rodeo Bow. So since I've got one design weeded, let me go ahead and get another design weeded just so we can go over the process one more time. This is the glossy side. This is the frosted side. The frosted side has the toner. We're going to take the blank side of the emulsion B sheet and put it against the frosted side of the A sheet, the one that has the toner on it. We're going to line the two sheets up, leaving ourselves a little bit of gap. And like I said, it helps to preheat the bottom platen, but once we've got that bottom platen preheated, we can just keep going. I'm going to cover this with a sheet of protective paper. I've got protective paper on top and on bottom, basically sandwiching the transfers. We don't want to use Teflon. If you have Teflon as a top cover on your heat press platen, or if you have Teflon over your bottom platen, remove your Teflon before you get this process started. We want to do that because Teflon retains moisture, and when we're working with a self-weeding paper, moisture is the enemy, so to speak. Now, like I said, one of the major benefits that I see in the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC is the 60-second weed time. Like I said, compared to 2 minutes, you're basically cropping off 60 seconds. 60 seconds may not sound like a big deal, but if you've got dozens or hundreds of transfers to make, boy, that time really does add up quick. So this one's almost set to go, Rodeo. We'll see if we get the same result as we got last time. Again, we want to get in the habit Yeah, looking good. All right. So we've got a couple of designs weeded. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next step, which is getting these designs onto a t-shirt. Now, as far as the type of material that we could use cotton and cotton poly blends up to a 50-50 blend. Anything that goes beyond 50% polyester, you might want to test with a test file, test graphic with your material. And what you're looking for is a symptom that we call dye migration. If you need more information on dye migration, check out one of our previous videos on Condé TV. Let's go ahead and remove the protective paper off the bottom. And let's go ahead and prep the shirt here. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a Hanes Beefy Tee 100% cotton tee. And what I'm going to do is lay it over the bottom platen of my trusty George Knight DK20S. go ahead and square it up as best I can. If there are any loose particles on my t-shirt, get them off the shirt with a sticky lint roller. And what we want to do is we want to pre-press our fabric for about 5 to 10 seconds, mainly to drive off any surface moisture that might be inside of the material. I'm going to go the full 10 seconds here because we are in beautiful Mobile, Alabama, where the humidity is probably somewhere, what, Rodeo Bow, around 120, maybe 113, tough to tell. Okay, but anyway, we've got our area ironed out. We got a nice smooth area to work with. I'm going to take my first graphic here, and just like the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark, I am going to trim around the edges just in case there was any residual emulsion that caught the edge of the A sheet. Now, from the testing that I have done here, I have left some transfers on that kind of had like the box outline around the design that the B sheet can sometimes do to the A foil, but I've never gotten it to stick. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't employ safety first. So we went ahead, trimmed it up. Let's go ahead and line up our design, place it where we want it to appear. At this point, I'm still going to use a sheet of butcher paper as a protective sheet. And I'm going to press at the same temperature and the same pressure. Once I calibrate a press where I'm getting consistent weeding results, I don't mess around with the pressure. I leave the pressure alone. The only thing we should really adjust at that point is temperature and time. Now, as far as time is concerned, we're going 30 seconds. 320 to 325 degrees Fahrenheit with a heavy pressure. So once our timer comes up, there we go. We want to take it off the press, and we want to let the design cool down completely before we attempt to remove this. So what I want to do is I'm going to lay this design right down here, Rodeo, and I am going to use a sheet of metal, piece of aluminum, placing it over that design to help cool it down, so hopefully we can give you a reveal and do it within time. Let's go ahead and make up one more rodeo bow just to make sure we've got the process down. Take our t-shirt, square it up on the bottom platen of our press, lint roll any contaminants, get it nice and square, protect the shirt, give it about a 5 to 10 second pre-press. And on this design, Rodeo, I'm going to skip the trimming part just in case any of these residual lines show up. We'll see it here in our testing. So let's go ahead, line our design, protect it. Again, we're going 300 to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 seconds, heavy pressure. Those instructions aren't going to vary, whether you're going to 100% cotton or a cotton poly blend. Now, like I said, if you're dealing with more than 50% polyester or it's a true synthetic material, you might want to go with the Forever Low Temp product because you can apply it at such a lower temperature. It basically then eliminates the possibility of what we call dye migration. Okay? But other than that, the papers work very similar. So we hit it for 30 seconds, pull it, and again, we leave the film attached, and I am going to use another piece of metal so we can get this one on the cool. As a matter of fact, let me switch them up here real quick, down here in the basement. Okay, so according to recommendations, we want to let those shirts sit for 5 minutes before we remove the film. So while we're waiting for these to cool down, I am just going to show you some of the output samples we did earlier. Rodeo, if you can give me the overhead view. So this is one of the images we produced, the Shaun of the Dead. We used a mask of 25 in this, and as you can see, it holds the dot pattern pretty well. And as far as this dropout here that you see in the advertisement here, this was part of the actual design that was not a mess up. Let me show you another example. One of the other movie posters we did. Now, in this design, I used the rip to knock out the background black. But as far as the shading here is concerned, for the most part, it looks like it held the dot pattern similar to how the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark would perform. And then one more example here. There we go. Now, with this design here, what I did with the rip is I changed the shape of the raster dot to a line, and I reset the angle at 0. So I basically have the lines running vertically up and down. Why? So that when I stretch out this design, the design flexes with the vertical banding lines, and you don't get the cracking that you would normally see with something that's meant to be full design. Also, again, with the black, since I'm using a black shirt, knock those out with the rip. Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea of what the product can do, let me see if I can get a reveal going here. Let's go ahead and try this Shaun of the Dead one here. Now, when it comes to removing the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark, you've kind of seen the peel and roll technique that we like to employ. This LaserMPrints TrimFree IC, it uses a little bit different tack. If you try to roll it, so to speak, what you're going to find is you're going to find the film catching on you. It's more like an Olay technique for removing this, such as grabbing the corner and 1, 2, 3, Olay. Pretty cool. Now, it's time for a finishing press. Now, we have to do this whether we're working with the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC or the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark. Now, when it comes to the finishing press, that's where you use the silicone sheet that's included with your pack. Cover your design with your non-stick silicone sheet. And I'm going to use a piece of protective paper just to keep that silicone in place. And we repress it for 30 more seconds using the same temperature, 320 to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, for the same amount of time, 30 seconds. So, like I said, you know, when it comes to the end production of these, once you apply the A-foil to your garment, both products, you basically got to let them cool down. And it's going to take a minimum of 5 minutes. Once you let it cool down, you remove the film, roll it off Forever Low Temp, rip it off with the LaserMPrints TrimFree, but we've got to do our silicone sheet finishing press. Now we have our self-weeded tee. And as far as the feel on this one, very similar to the Forever Low Temp Laser Dark in that it's going to have a very light feel to it once we apply that finishing press. So again, some absolutely awesome results that you can get with this new product of ours, LaserMPrints TrimFree IC. So If you want to go ahead and give it a shot, get in touch with one of our account managers. You can call us at 800-826-6332, or you could try it off of our website, which is www.condé.com. Remember, it does come with a 100% product guarantee. So I hope you enjoyed this little live presentation on how to use the LaserMPrints TrimFree IC. Like I said, we recommend it for iColor units, but it is going to be compatible with Oki units as well. So just about anybody with a white toner system can give it a try. Now, as far as what we have coming up for you, let's take a look. One of the things I'm going to do is show you the wash test results, where we're going to compare these designs we just did against designs with Forever Low Temp Laser Dark. We'll put them through wash testing, show you the results. We'll bring that to you in later shows. If you're interested in this product, like I said, we've got descriptions available on our website. We've got the links in the long description on our YouTube. So go ahead and jump there. It'll take you right to the page. And don't forget to like, comment, and share on the T-shirt Transfer Paper Power Half Hour. Use the emoji 100p, works for me. And don't forget to tune into our next episode, which is going to be on Tuesday, August 17th. And what we're going to do is take some of these self-weeding papers and see if we can come up with our own labeling and branding for garments. Should be a pretty awesome show. I hope to see you there. Until next time, I'm Doug DeWitt, Transfer Paper Product Manager here at Condé Systems. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.